Going live? Live होता होता ना. Good morning. Good morning, Ritika, Shreya, Abhishek, Shakshi, Subhadeep. Thank you, guys. Thank you so very much for taking our time. And I welcome to PIBM and Dr. HR webinar, which would be for 45 minutes, followed with 15 minutes of question and answer. So big welcome and good morning to all the participants. I hope all of you are doing well and keeping yourself safe and giving this COVID-19 a tough fight. I know you guys are missing your campus right now, but first and foremost, very, very important for you to take care of your health. Rest, everything will follow. Yeah? Now, yes, we know we are desperate, wanting to go back to our campuses, meet up with our friends. That's one kind of an excitement. The other one that we have in back of our mind is nobody has anticipated, expected this COVID to hit us. And when all of a sudden, all of us are going through this unprecedented time, as a student community, I do understand very well that, there are plenty of excitement, angst in the mind. What would happen to our campus hiring? What would happen to my career? Precisely that is the reason why I thought I should do a live session for PIBM, with whom, I have got fantastic experience. And my experience goes, my engagement with your institution goes, I think, it's been more than 4 years. And I'm super impressed with your campus facility. I had been to your campus also. I'm thankful to you, your management. They were kind enough to invite me. So in one of, I guess, a year or two back, I was in your campus in some HR conclave, and I did share my point of view with some of your students. Happy to let you know that, last year we hired a few people from your institute. And of course, there was a lady also who was interned with HR team at Magicbricks. So purely from that standpoint, experience overall was super, super good. And it's a family. And hence I thought this time, let me go ahead and try and help out those budding managers, those student communities who are little excited and are little worried at the same time to know about what holds for them, specifically when you talk about the future. So today's session, this 45 minutes, is all about what do we need to do specifically as a student community to stay ahead of the race, specifically in this unprecedented situation, and even for tomorrow when you join corporates, any kind of an uncertain situation, how do we actually go ahead and manage this? That is very, very important, and that's going to be my main point of discussion. I thank you all again and welcome back to this session. Good morning, people who have joined right now. And this session is for 45 minutes, and we will have 15 minutes of question and answer. That is how, we have planned this. Feel free, the live chat is also active. Feel free to ask me questions, and then, I'll try and address your questions. Yeah, that's how, we would structure, and, we'll go ahead with the presentation, today's session. So my name is Anil, full name Anil Kumar Misra, and it's been 23 years I've been practicing HR. Very, very fortunate to get an opportunity to work in all different sectors. And the realization is there are no ideal companies. In some company, you like certain stuff. In others, you do not. But long story cut short, in every organization and working with every manager gives you new experience. And that is very, very critical, in fact. So in today's session, we will talk about unprecedented times. Now, when we hit with this COVID situation 4 months back, then every organization, this is industry agnostic, every organization were thinking of three things. Number one, how do we survive during this unprecedented time? And I'm sure what I mean by this is the startups who were living on venture capitalist or fund from an external source were really struggling to survive and stay afloat. Yeah. And other organizations, by and large, irrespective of the number of years they were in business, they just to survive, they went ahead and announced few measures like hiring freeze, like cutting down overall the budget cost. So learning and development, that budget got reduced. The overall increments and appraisal were kept on hold. Hiring related decisions were kept on hold, and specifically also there were some retrenchment, some layoff that happened across industries. That's not a good situation to be in. And second phase that we all have seen is organizations initiated plenty of intervention to again come back to those old golden days. So that was first phase was about survival. Second phase was about how do we recover back. Now we are in a phase broadly wherein everybody is thinking of the unlocking process, and everybody is thinking of getting into again that excellence mode. So broadly, these were the three steps. Now, what's in it for students? Any unprecedented time, and specifically when everything was kind of work from home kind of a mechanism we all were following, and everything when we were following the lockdown, it also has given us plenty of opportunities. Number one, so today I'm going to share a few of my tips with my student friends, specifically around how we can encash this situation, how to stay ahead of this race during this unprecedented time. Now, one of my favorite question is, whom do you consider as your competition? What I mean is, suppose in PIBM you are 2,000 students doing MBA, and in one specific year they will pass out. I'm just giving a hypothetical number. Then except you, Ishant Kundal, except you, Avinash, except you, Rumi Baduri, everybody else is your competition. Now, typically when corporates visit the campuses, they would ask a question, Ritika Soni, why should we hire you? What is so unique about Ritika Soni? In management parlance, we call it, what is your competitive advantage? And now, if this is what is expected, and I'm not talking about PIBM alone. In Pune, there are 1,000 other management colleges, at least 100 other management colleges, and you have to compete with all of them. In Maharashtra, how many? In India, how many? But when we talk about Industrial Revolution 4.0, why India? Why not globally? Because globally, we say the world is our corporate battlefield right now. Why not China? Why not Thailand? Why not Hong Kong? Why not UK? Right? And consider everybody except you, Priyanshi Jain, Radhika Khandelwal, except you, everybody else is your competition. Now, when a HR comes to your campus, they try and look for candidate who can offer a premium, meaning either your learnability got to be faster. And I'm pretty sure learnability is very, very good because you guys are born and brought up in high speed internet era and hence super tech savvy young people, hence a lot of energy, agility to learn. So that is one of your competitive advantage. Second thing, how good when it comes to standing up, challenging the status quo, making a wonderful presentation before, let's say, 2000 audience. If you can do that, that is also a great story. And that can also be your competitive advantage. Yeah. Third thing. Now, during this unprecedented time when we all were observing lockdown, mind you, all of you are fortunate that you have your families and you're staying with their family members, and you have a lot of time at your disposal. How do you make use of this available time? To what extent you are investing in yourself? Your competency development is very, very crucial, and that might act as one of the competitive advantage. Meaning, how during unprecedented time, when you have a lot of time at your disposal, why don't you pick up a course, maybe digital marketing, maybe HR analytics, maybe something in finance, maybe something in probably a new technology or coding skill. That, my friends, is going to play the role of making you staying ahead of the race and helping you out in terms of developing your competitive advantage over others. Very, very important. Number two, you also need to make yourself familiarize with multiple or different types of employer engagement programs. Now let me tell you, even though there is by and large hiring freeze across companies, still I strongly believe, I want you to make a note of this, talent would always be in demand. Good talent would always be in demand, and organizations constantly, irrespective of the times, are in need of good people. And hence, you need to identify, you need to have that networking skill which lets you know which are the companies today hiring, who are they hiring, what kind of a skill sets are in demand right now, and do you have any contact with any of the HR practitioners in any of the company? So long story cut short, my dear friends, my second input for you would be, try and make best use of this available time to do little bit of research. And third point is, strengthen your networking skills. Now, when I'm saying strengthen your networking skills, typically what we do, we try and desperately reach out to HR people. I'm a student of PIBM final year, and I've taken a loan, this, that thing. I need a job desperately. Do you have something? And I assure you, I would be a great asset to the company. Such mailers, take my word, 99% of the times gets rejected. And that shows an individual's desperation. And I do not think why any of the students who is a pass out of PIBM need to act desperately. You have invested, you have earned, or probably going to earn a degree for yourself. My request to you would be, try and showcase your competency rather than sounding desperate. Meaning, sir, in our 2 years time, or ma'am, in our 2 years academic career, we have learned this, 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 and I have done well in this, this, this. In this case study competition, our college stood first, and my group, we were 5 members and we won the first prize. Something of that sort. Or probably, sir, I did my internship with this sector, this company, so my interest is in this sector. I know what your organization is doing, and try and show them interest, that genuinely you are keen to know about the sector. You were genuinely following the sector. Your interest and competency lies in the sector. You have done your internship in this kind of a company. which is in this sector. And hence, once you reach out to people with a strong logic, you do not leave anybody an opportunity not to accept your LinkedIn invite. And that's a starting point. Then slowly you got to get in touch with them and try share your point of view. And over a period of time, you can build your network and networking skill. And mind you, when we are talking about a digitally connected world, the future is the more you are good at your networking skill, the more you have contacts in industry, and the more are your possibility of reaching out to right people and understanding what happens in those segments. It's a continuous ongoing process. It's not probably one time activity. Very, very important. I hope this makes sense, Ajay Karmakar. Very good morning. Now the other one is, make it a point, everybody, I hope that you have your LinkedIn profile already created. Try and make an effort to get into LinkedIn all-star status. There are multiple levels, basis your credibility, basis your credentials, your academic qualification, basis the kind of skill sets that you have, basis where else you have done your internship, blah blah blah. You get certain weightage, and if you completely fulfill those requirements and complete your LinkedIn profile, there are possibilities that you can get into that LinkedIn all stars kind of a status. Now mind you, when we are talking about working from home, or when we are talking about the new normal is going virtual. My daughter is in 5th standard, but the school education system, even for 5th standard, right now is virtual. It happens, you need typically a laptop or a mobile phone or a tablet or whatever it is. So hospitality sector, hotels are, reorienting their business process. Everybody is wanting to go digital, and that's here to stay. The advantage is, at least, we have those internet penetration, and it's significantly good relatively. Number two, of course, everybody need to reorient. Now, what it means for our student community, Abhijit Jha, very, very important. Sitama Das, Pankaj Pahilwani. My limited point to you would be, student community, is the interview process also is going through a change. Now, Sabah Khan, Arjun Patel, my limited point here is, what I mean by this, when I'm saying the interview process is going through a change. The interview process is going through a change, meaning earlier you were called to any campus, or probably called to a company, or corporates were visiting your company, your campus, to do interview. So it used to have face-to-face interaction. So I can see you, I can look at you, I can understand, and we will have a conversation. That is going through a change. Today, the interview modes are threefold. Number one, face-to-face. I'm hopeful, at least in the future, whenever this will happen, the campus interactions would increase, things will be back to normal. Then, when organizations visit your campus, we will have face-to-face interaction and interview. That requires a different set of preparation, because people would actually see you and meet you, can ask lot many questions in person. Number two is, these days people also do the initial screening interview through telephonic call. What it means is, your preparation for facing telephonic interview also needs to go through a change. It cannot be same. Third thing is, with the advent of, with all this technological stuff, everybody going online, importantly, video interviewing skills, the techniques are also different. Yeah, by and large, I want my student friends to be very, very conscious of the fact that the interviewing process also has gone through a change. So you need to be spontaneous when you are in video presentations. You need to, there are attires, there are dress sense, there are professional etiquettes that we got to be followed. In telephonic skills, by and large, the competencies, the skills required are different. Now, my counter question to you, Ravi Trivedi, Pankaj, or Akanksha Chaturvedi, is, how well prepared are you to meet up with the new challenges, new ways of interviewing people and facing interviews. The more you are prepared, the better are your chances of getting shortlisted. And one more critical thing that I would want to pass on to you is very, very important for us to have this patience. Now, the dynamic market dynamic, please try and understand the market dynamic is there is huge supply because of people like you who are likely to pass out and look for employment. There are plenty of attrition, or there are a lot of headcount reduction that happened in organizations. There are plenty of layoffs that has happened. So all of them, they come and they come to your supply pool. But on the contrary, the demand for jobs, what it used to be 6 months back, definitely has come down. There are hiring freeze now. Hence, how to stay ahead? Invest in yourself. Focus on your interviewing skills, irrespective of the mode that you are going to get. Have patience and increase your networking skill. And be positive and take care of your health. Okay? These are some of the things very, very important. Now, one more thing, you all also need to, whenever you get an opportunity in this kind of a digitized mode, whenever you are getting an opportunity, you need to practice your presence. For example, Ravi Trivedi or Akshay Bora or Pankaj or Aniket Singh, anybody for that matter, any of your friends, whenever you are getting an opportunity, try and practice your presence. What I mean by that is there is no fun for any of the industry leader or any of the speaker to address to people who are blank or who are non-reciprocative. And hence, whenever you get an opportunity, mind you, again, your competition is everybody except you, Shreya. And hence, what you got to be doing is whenever you get an opportunity, raise a hand, stand up, challenge the status quo, ask a question. That's how you strengthen your visibility. These are the tiny, tiny practices. If you start doing it from today, then that would definitely, definitely help you all. Now, some of your friends, they have asked, what is that, the kind of competencies that we are expecting in future? That's a brilliant point. In today's time, the competencies that any of the hiring managers, any of the campuses, any of the organizations, they expect out of the candidate is, number one, your adaptability. In student community, we have seen, sorry, I have this homesickness. Sorry, I'm from Chennai, I cannot go to Jammu and Kashmir. But the company we has a position in Jammu and Kashmir. I hope you are getting my point. Upasana, Goldie, Sritama, Sam Bajaj, and Sabah Khan. When I'm saying adaptability, meaning irrespective of the difficulty, see, if you can't do much about it, why to worry about it? Go with the flow, prepare, be optimist, but then prepare. It takes a lot of preparation in terms of upgrading a skill, in terms of networking, in terms of preparing on your curriculum, as well as preparing for the interview. Very, very important from that standpoint, Raj Pachori. Yeah. So, mind you, the virus is here to stay. If we have to believe the newspaper reports, the other, even including WHO's reports, then it makes me believe that the virus is here to stay. What do we do? If the virus is here to stay, we need to find out ways of peacefully coexisting with the virus. Meaning, we got to take care of our health, our family. That's equally important. At the same time, take proper precaution, but do not lose out on your focus. The focus is, how would I emerge as a winner? Here, very, very important point. I talked about the demand and supply mismatch right now. There is a huge supply, but the demand for jobs is little lesser, and quite significantly lesser, not necessarily little. In that condition, what do I do? When you're not going to have as many companies as you used to see probably in the good times. So, as a student community, the win-win proposition as a HR practitioner, my input to you would be, do not say no to any opportunity. Number one. Number two, if it is not a full-time opportunity, then also, Pankaj, please go ahead and, if somebody is offering you an internship for 3 months, for 6 months, never ever say no. Please go ahead and accept that internship. It helps you out in understanding the inside stories of a company. Whatever you might have learned, what happens as a practice, that you would get to know. Yeah. And hence, my request is, even if you are getting internship opportunity, grab it with both the hands, learn it. And I'm sure again, we will have good times. And that is when this internship experience will come in handy. Number third, in India today, we are seeing, and then you would be glad to know, India features amongst the top 3 nations which uses gig economy extensively. Now, what it means is, gig are those people who come, who perform a duty, then they go. They are not your full-time employee. Just to give you an example, मान लो urban company in India, or Uber, or Amazon delivery boys, what do? They pick up the order, they go deliver. Or probably if you need a AC technician, you can find out in Mumbai, in Malad area, how many technicians are there. You book their appointment, they come, they charge them money, they finish it up, their job, then they go out. They are not employed. Similarly, in white collar jobs, I'm talking about CHROs, I'm talking about digital marketing heads, I'm talking about HR analytics, I'm talking about data scientists, I'm talking about sales heads. So these are also on a rise, meaning this gig economy is improving, that is increasing, and that's going to be also one more trend. And hence, if you are also getting a contractual or gig kind of an assignment, please grab it with both the hands. And it is very, very important. Unlike the West, in West, it's a very, very prestigious thing. Even people at a senior level do not mind to go for a survival job. What it means is, they will work in a, let's say, Subway outlet as a food serving guy, and that's how they earn their school fees, or probably additional pocket money, or survive. These are called survival jobs. That's also picking it up across geographies right now, and this economy is called gig economy. And interestingly, even for white collar job, it's on a rise. So very, very important. Yeah. So limited point here, friends, is any opportunity that you get right now, by all means, go ahead, grab it and take it up, because nobody can take out those years of experience. Yeah. Very, very important. The other thing is, what kind of skills are required. One, adaptability. Second, competency expected from fresh candidates are your agility, your energy level, your passion. That is very, very important. Third one is the learnability piece. Pooja, we already talked about learnability. Srinanda, Upasana, Rani Kumari, Vidya Menon, these are some of the competency. But one more critical competency would be your ability to take people along. And hence, very, very important for us to focus or fine tune or hone our overall life skills. Life skills meaning, if you are good at communication, if you are good at leading people, if you are good at motivating, if you are good at making presentation, good at writing a white paper, these skills, if you have, irrespective of the function that you belong to, you can rise very faster in the organization ladder. Very, very important to focus on those. I won't call it soft skill. Normally they are regarded as soft skill, but I hate to call it soft skill, because of the simple reason, the moment you say these are soft skills, everybody feels easy to acquire. No, they are not easy to acquire. It requires a lot of practice, but the more you are prepared for, or if you are very good at those life skills, it's only going to take or zoom rocket your overall career trajectory. So very, very important. Networking skill is one more thing. Problem solving ability is the skill, because we do not know, world has got 1,000 problems, and organizations need people who are creative, who are innovative, who can help us out in problem solving or minimizing the problem. That is very, very important. Mind you, the reality is, every time you go to your professor, every time you go to probably your friends, every time you go to your parents, most of the times, or your employer, most of the times we get this feedback that nahi, ye to nahi hoga. They would tell you 100 reasons why this would not be successful. But perseverance is the skill that is very, very important for us. People would want to hire people who have a strong conviction and they know how to steer through this and reach the final destination. That is called perseverance. Very, very important. Abhijit Jha is asking how to become a good problem solver. Please share a few points with us, sir. Okay, here is a quick one. Something called 4D principle. It starts with 4Ds. First D is do. Second D is for delay. Third D is for destroy. Fourth D is for delegate. As a manager, Abhijit, you cannot do everything. So you need to, and then if you try to address everything together, you would be in a big problem. One technique would be, you need to prioritize. You need to prioritize basis which is critical, which is urgent, which is value added. And one day is certain thing you have to do. You cannot delegate that. So that is first D. Second one is delegate. You cannot. So you are not somebody who can do every activity by yourself. You definitely need help of others. So seek help. Certain stuff in delegate for a student community, meaning collaborate, talk to your friends, seek their help. They have certain strengths probably which is your weakness, and they would have certain weakness which is your strength. So you need to collaborate and work together. That's one way of problem solving. Third one, anything which is a distraction, which is not required, it takes a lot of your bandwidth, destroy it. That's not required. And certain thing you believe there is important but not urgent right now, that is called, you can delay it. This is called 4D principle. And problem solving, one more tip, very quick tip is 5W and 1H. Anything that you want to do, ask yourself why you are doing it. Why, when, what, how, and what is that? Ultimately we got to be 5W and 1. These are very, very simple yet powerful tools. Normally, you would find this tool super aggressive and followed very, very religiously in Japanese organizations. They are very, very particular. And these are some of the tools. Let's move ahead. So these are some of the competencies which is in high demand. And mind you, everybody would criticize. That's the point I was saying. So this principle is called, anytime you say, people would come out and say there are 100 reasons why it cannot be done. This mentality is called crab mentality, meaning you take a mud crab and put it in a vessel. The crab, there are multiple possibilities that crab can think of getting out of that situation. You put maybe many mud crabs together in a vessel, then crab mentality is, as soon as one wants to climb, the other one would try and pull it down. So the limited point I'm trying to say is, these distractions, these kind of disturbances would be always around us. We need to know how to focus and move ahead, because end of the day, not Anil Misra, not any of your professors, not PIBM, not any company is going to help you out. Everybody would try and enable you. They would facilitate. We all will try our best to help you out, but only when you know how to help yourself. So this is called enabling functions. We all have a role. Your teacher, your parents, they will pay the fee, send you to a nice B school. The professors would try their best. For them, everybody is equal, and I'm sure everybody is doing it. But the same input is given to all of us. How do we do that? Yeah, everybody, the corporates would also visit your campus for placements, but then not necessarily entire 200 member will get placed in the same company. And hence my bottom line is, you have to fight your battle alone, and nobody else can come in handy. Yeah, you need to know how to help yourself, and I hope these are some of the tips which would help you out in terms of understanding the ground reality. And if you focus on this today, definitely your preparedness will go one notch higher, and you can think of staying ahead of the competition. These are some of the tips and tricks. Yeah, and take up those projects. Even if you do not get any stipend, reach out to organizations, say, sir, do you have any project where I can work? This is my interest, this is blah blah blah, this is my area of interest, this is my summer intern project, and it is quite similar, it is in line with this, I think I can help you out, let me know if you have any live projects. Now, it helps you out in strengthening your visibility. It helps you out in knowing what's in trend and strengthening your network ability. And it also helps you out in your own learning process, which might come in handy for future. And mind you, this might also we will also consider this as experience. So very, very important. Yeah. And staying focused. One more tiny story comes to my mind. Falcon, right? That belongs to the same eagle family. It flies very high in the sky. And when it is little down for, probably for food or any other purpose, what happens is only bird who dares to kind of, play some mischievous role with this falcon is the crow, Indian crow. What it does is it gets onto the falcon and with his beak tries to poke the falcon. Falcon does not react. What falcon does is slowly he gets into a level. He rises above and till a point where the oxygen levels are very, very less and very difficult for the crow to survive. So the moral of the story is you will find people in all spheres of life really probably will try and poke you, will try and criticize you. So you need to be focused, and that's what I meant. You are for yourself. Very, very important. Focus on that. If you practice this, definitely you would stay ahead of the race. That's what, the limited discussion I wanted to have with you. In the interest of time, I don't want to go ahead one-sided and talk. Definitely, I would take few quick questions from all of you. So feel free to ask me any question that bothers you, and 5 questions I would pick up. Yeah. Could you think of Atmanirbhar package boost the Indian economy and Indian towards self-reliant? Ronit Das, fantastic question. I think yes. When we are talking about Atmanirbhar package, we do not need to depend on anybody or any package. The great state to be in is I need to be self-sufficient. And that is what the gig economy is going to boost. Gig economy, see, the reality is there would not be many government jobs. There would not be many full-time corporate jobs across organizations because it's a fixed cost. And there is an endeavor by all organizations to bring down those fixed cost. And in this scenario, what is the new reality? The new reality is gig economy. That takes care of the Atmanirbhar thing. Real estate Zini, sir, do you think the reduction of stamp duty will bring real estate sector back on track? I think, yeah, it should help. It should enable, but not necessarily only reduction of stamp duty will really foster this real estate sector. What would foster is the overall trust factor. Yeah, and the overall infrastructure arrangement, the overall employment status. These are some of the things which can fuel the real estate sector. Sorry. Lipidhar is asking, but Crow has done some defect on Falcon. No, the Falcon does not react. Falcon says, you're too small a bird. So one whack, and probably some 10 crows would be dead. But then it does not react. So the limited point, Lippy, I want to give here is, always in life you would have choice. You need not react to all the situations and waste your energy, time, and efforts. That is the moral of the story. And no, I think crow is too small a bird for a falcon to create any kind of damage. And the more you focus on, okay, it has already created some damage, then it will bother you. Don't do that. What are the main skills required to be brilliant critical thinker? Critical thinker, okay, you need to have multiple solutions in place. Critical thinker would not jump into conclusion. Critical thinker would get into root cause analysis. There are multiple techniques. One we call footprint exercise is one technique. The other technique, I'm sure you are aware, is called fishbone analysis. The third one is called 5W and 1H. These are the techniques of critical thinking. Don't get into conclusion without understanding the logic, without understanding the root cause. And when you go for any kind of a solution, when you provide any solution or suggestion, do mental maths and go ahead with option 1, option 2, option 3, because organizations are very dynamic. What would work as a suggestion, as a solution for one organization might not work in another. And hence, very, very important to go prepared. In the scenario, people will attract for government sector jobs, for job security. Don't you think corporate world is going to face a dilemma for the shortage of manpower? Government organizations are also getting into privatization mode. For example, look at airport authorities, look at aviation sector, look at multiple other sectors who are in the verge of having more privatized, even including our defense setups. So what it means is the more job security, for job security purpose, looking for government jobs where there are multiple other factors, like there are quota system, there are plenty of other stuff, and the number is shrinking, and hence might not be a great idea to focus on that. Nobody is, or nobody's job is secured in today's scenario, be it government, be it private sector. Yeah, what you can do is something which is not. So you heard of this Stephen Covey's 8 great habits, right? 7 habits, and then he started 8th one. He talks about sharpening the axe. He talks about sphere of control, something which is in your sphere of control. Try and focus on that. Meaning, how can I prepare well for interviews? How can I strengthen my understanding on the sector? How can I strengthen my networking skills? How can I probably strengthen my competitive advantage? These are in your control, and you would be job loss proof once you focus on those areas. So do not look at stuff that is not in your control. Yeah, focus on the things which is in your control. Yeah, so this is what it is broadly. How can we differentiate ourselves? It can happen that time required to follow passion is not enough. We lose the pace due to competition. Competition, Pragati Chaudhary, is bound to be there, and it is there in every sector. I'll give you a funny example. My physiological age right now is 47. Yeah, I have started learning. How can my 23 years of experience is meaningless if I'm not able to share my experiences with my audience. And hence, keeping this in mind, last 20 years, I've been in touch with management colleges. I've been teaching, sharing my point of view in different forums as a speaker, and plenty of accolades also I have received. Then I have learned it from my son, who is a YouTuber. He has his own channel. And at 47, 2 months back, I started my own YouTube channel in the name of Dr. HR. Doctor as in dr.hr. It's a YouTube channel, and the intent why I started is it is meaningless. I have a commitment to give back to society. You are part of the entire ecosystem. You were fortunate that I had 2 decades of job. I have a family. I have a job even today. Yeah, as a CHRO. So let me share the practical nuances what student communities would go through. Unfortunately, our education system in India is it focuses on 70-75% theoretical construct. We all have gone through that. That's a harsh reality. 25% would be at best. 25% is how application of that acquired knowledge can happen. That is the missing link. In the West, it's just the opposite. You start learning by doing activities. In America, in the US, in the UK, in developed economy, that is the method of learning. In this case, we do not have. So the missing link, the problem statement with student community is they do not get practical experiences. Of course, they get. There are multiple industry academia interaction that happens, but the purpose why I thought of getting into this Dr. HR YouTube channel is to share my experiences, to invite people from across cultures, across geographies, and talk about our experience of dealing with a specific problem. Now, long story cut short, in such scenario, when there is competition, there are already YouTubers, but I realize there are not many in HR space, and let me go ahead and share my experiences. That's how I enhance my visibility. At the same time, it gives me professional enrichment that yes, I am doing something good, which would be beneficial for at least student community. So limited point I want to tell you is there is bound to be competition. Still, you need to identify your competitive advantage and go ahead with a unilateral perseverance kind of a mode. If you do that, you would be a winner. How to self-motivate yourself specifically in situation in order to keep focus, and how to manage your time to do all the tasks. Brilliant question. Now, prepare, go, baby step, one at a time. Prepare that, what are the stuff that I got to be doing for sure. For example, my networking skill. For example, acquiring a new skill. For example, probably, writing a white paper or starting your own YouTube channel. Just giving an example, vague, it could be vague. That is the ultimate thing that you want to do. Then give a timeline. This is for 6 months. This is in the next 3 months. It has to be in place. In next 1 year, this is how I need to make a move for my career. And then fragment that. Divide that into tiny, tiny steps, which is further, cascaded to 1 month, 15 days, and daily activity. And we all know anything which you practice for 21 days becomes solidified as a behavior, as a habit, and then you are on your own. Every big change starts with a tiny step, and if your conviction is very, very strong, then that is the right thing to do. That's what my limited answer to you would be at this stage. Sir, due to bad performance of almost all sector, the preference of all are narrowing down to only digital. How will you restore this hope? Yeah, that's the ground reality. When it is the survival of a company, or when it is a matter of probably minimizing the overall overhead or costs, headcount cost is also part of that. And something, the modernization, the automation, the digital revolution is all about enhancing efficacy, enhancing overall effectiveness, and minimizing the total number of headcount. In that scheme of thing, yes, everybody would be optimally using the overall headcount requirement. It will not be huge. In that case, only way out for us is explore all kinds of job. Mentally get ready to get into gig. Atmanirbhar. Yeah, very, very important, these things. You will not, the future is probably when you talk about Gen X, my generation of people, it was relatively, we could find out some jobs. Then slowly, the jobs are available, but the enrichment, the satisfaction rate is coming down. Now the trend is Gen Z. When you talk about Gen Z population, they are subject matter experts. Not the mindset is not married to any one company. So they will go pick up gig assignment, and 3-4 companies they will go and do that. So for you to be able to get on to that stage, you need to identify what is your core strength and build on that strength and try and become a subject matter expert in that area. That is the way forward. That's my limited point. And of course, let me do a little bit of branding here, self branding. I have this channel called Dr. HR, started 2 months back. Please subscribe to my channel and stay in touch. And every week I post one to key learning, and that is where I talked about the economy. I talked about gig economy. So, and in future also the interviewing skills. What kind of a hypothetical question we ask? Who are how to build organization culture from the scratch? These are certain stuff I intend to post, and every week you will find a post along with of course there are some satirical that I am planning right now, Dr. HR satires. So what actually happens in corporate world when you talk about HR, that also in a very funny and satirical way I want to present. Intent is learning has to be ensured. The mode of learning is not important. It can happen in classroom, it can happen in webinar, it can happen in any kind of funny videos or satirical series, or it can happen also by reading. So refer to all modes. If learning is your objective, the mode can come in from anybody. That's very, very important. Okay. Any other questions from Dr. So that's what it is right now. I think we have spent good 52 minutes right now. I will take one last question and let me see who is that person. Subham, sir, you talked about gig economy, but due to lockdown, many people lost jobs. For example, those who are working in Uber, Zomato, etc. Our economy is down by around 23%. Can gig economy improve? Definitely yes. When there are no jobs available, when there are hiring freeze, what do? These gig assignments are the future. For example, there is Ernst & Young, E&Y. They have started a company called Gig Now. For example, Quest Corp, that organization also is catering to gig assignments. I'm not talking about Zomato or Uber drivers at that level. Even at a white collar job, there are organizations who are doing, and they have seen equally 15. The research data said 15% more demand for gig assignments during this unprecedented time. And think of people like me, who are already 20 plus years experience in the sector and prone to job losses. Why? Because we are already at a higher salary level, and there are 3 more resources waiting at 1/3 of the price who can do similar kind of a job. Of course, you cannot take my years of experience, and hence best option for me right now is to actually get into a gig assignment, because otherwise I would be jobless. Yeah. So mentally get prepared and start focusing on that. Mind you, it's a $250 billion sector, and hence I'm hopeful. With confidence, I'm going to tell you, gig economy definitely is the future, and it can overall contribute significantly to our GDP. So with that, I come to the end of today's session. Thank you so very much for your time. I thoroughly enjoyed, and I have a lot of good wishes for you. Stay in touch, reach out to people. All the very best, and stay safe, stay indoors, stay focused, keep learning. And finally, of course, subscribe to my channel, Dr. HR also. And probably we would connect every week through that format. I look forward to good times, so that I can again visit your campus and can have face-to-face interaction. Thank you so very much, PIBM, Kundan, and the entire management team for having me here and for agreeing to allow me to host this through my channel. Yeah, I wanted more subscriber. I wanted some sort of an encouragement so that, next time onwards, I go ahead and post more videos, more GAN sessions. Thank you so very much. And I thoroughly enjoyed this interaction. God bless you guys and all the very best. Take care, Pankaj, Mona, Sabah Khan, Neetu, Gaurav Chauhan, Ritika. Bye-bye. Take care. All the best.